you.
I don't like that. Are you really mad 'cause I don't like that song?
Baby, I'm not talking to you right now.
Anti-foot. You already done?
Yep.
You haven't seemed half interested in half the things I've said today.
The way you're behaving today is hardly womanly.
I've been here working my ass for like the last 3 days.
Baby, I'm
All you do is come home and about it.
I'm not
Brat.
I'm not a brat.
You're a spoiled brat.
I hate you right now.
Good, go away, leave me alone.
Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey had a toxic relationship. On national television, Nick ridiculed Jessica and talked down to her like she was a child. The reality show created false narratives within their marriage and forced them to fake their love, when in fact, Jessica wanted nothing more but to leave Nick behind. So let's get into it. Once upon a time, Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson were the it couple. They were young, attractive, successful entertainers who met in the 90s and married in the 2000s. Their relationship was so popular, they got a reality show titled Newlyweds, Nick and Jessica, which followed them through their lives as a couple. But as the couple became household names, their marriage began to crumble, and Jessica filed for divorce in 2005. Now, I remember watching them on TV as a young kid because their show was a hit. So I'm interested in showing you guys what exactly happened in their relationship. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning. Now, when they met, Nick was in a band titled 98 Degrees, and Jessica had her own solo music career, but they shared a manager who introduced them at a Hollywood Christmas parade. Right away, Nick was interested in Jessica, and he was quoted saying that after we met, I found myself looking through the crowds for her all night. But luckily for Nick, a month later, they reconnected because Jessica was performing at a party for teen people. He said he watched her sing and how the crowd reacted, and he wanted to get to know her better. And he got that chance because they started dating shortly after.
Is there any special person, or are you going to tell me, oh, I'm too busy, you know, in this life, you know, I'm always out on the road.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely somebody.
There is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's back
And
in
he
Texas.
is a performer.
Oh,
No.
yeah. Oh. Someone we might know?
Yeah.
So I'm on a fishing expedition here. But that's all. We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, it's Nick Lachey from 98 Degrees.
It is. Okay.
Now, these two instantly hit it off, and they hit it off so well that they decided to go on tour together, which is an interesting move because usually when we see relationships and one partner goes on tour, they usually have problems, they end up breaking up, but these two went on tour together because Jessica joined Nick's tour. Jessica said there were so many girls backstage at their concerts. She told Nick, I don't know if I like this, but he said, trust has to be at the core of our relationship. So he reassured her that he's not going to go and, cheat on her because he's like a band guy, in the late 90s and everyone wants to sleep with him. Even though they went on tour together and it worked out, it eventually did not work out. In 2001, Jessica broke up with Nick to focus on her second album, but she revealed when 9/11 happened, it was so tragic for her that it put things into perspective and she wanted him back. She said, quote, I knew that I never ever wanted to be away from Nick ever for the rest of my life. Shortly after they got back together in the year 2002, they were engaged. So they got back together and moved forward very quickly. I think part of the reason why their relationship moved so quickly is because they had this show to produce content for, and their wedding happened that same year they were engaged. I mean, that is so quick, and it was of course featured on this series, and I do think the series put a lot of pressure on them to be together and to act happy and to get things done for the show.
He surprised her with this amazing 6.75 carat pear-shaped ring.
The second I got onto shore, I wanted to immediately start working up my dream wedding.
Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey came in together. They were never at a meeting alone.
Nick was extremely involved in the planning. He wanted to know exactly what he was paying for.
They knew they wanted to get married in the South in Austin, Texas.
I always wanted to get married in a Whitechapel, and I found that in Austin. The theme of my wedding was just fairy tale romance.
Now, we didn't see the wedding right after it happened because their show started filming a little bit before that. So it was about a year until the show released, and once that came out, we saw a whole other side of this relationship that no one's ever really seen on reality TV before. I mean, nowadays we've got so many shows about couples and dating shows, but back then, Newlyweds was breaking barriers. This report writes, the show would catapult Jessica and Nick into a new level of stardom. The series began as a way to show their odd couple pairing, with Nick as the mature and responsible person and Jessica as the young and flighty personality. The show aired for 3 seasons, and they were one of the first celebrity couples to pull back the curtain on their personal lives.
Your marriage is, toughest, and I think especially for people who haven't lived together prior to getting married, you have to go through all those adjustments.
Stop it.
2, completely different takes on the way everyday life should be.
Is this chicken what I have, or is this fish? I know it's tuna, but it says chicken by the sea. Is that stupid? What? Don't make fun of me right now. I'm not in the mood.
You act like you've never had tuna before.
Oh, the classic, is it tuna or is it chicken? That is a meme that lives on forever. And there were so many great moments in this show, but there were also some bad moments. And it ultimately led to them publicly divorcing and everyone being involved in their personal lives. At the time, there were rumors that Jessica had an affair on Nick with her co-star Johnny Knoxville, which they both denied these rumors, saying they were both just friends, but Jessica admitted in 2020 in her memoir that she had an emotional affair on Nick with Johnny. You guys saw how Nick was rolling his eyes at Jessica in that last clip and being very dismissive. Well, she said that Johnny was different. She said, I could share my deepest and authentic thoughts with Johnny, and he didn't roll his eyes at me. He actually liked that I was smart and I could embrace my vulnerabilities. He believed in me and made me feel like I could do anything, which Nick never really seemed supportive. He was always kind of making a joke of Jessica.
Jessica said she first met the man at the 2001 MTV Video Music Awards. It was at a time when she and Nick Lachey were on a break. She said she grew up thinking this man was so hot, and after being introduced to him, he was looking at her up and down. A few days later, they crossed paths at a gym and exchanged numbers, but then Jessica got back together with Nick and got married. Jessica said after she divorced Nick, they met again and she went to his hotel room before a big award show where he kissed her, even though he attended the event with his girlfriend.
It seems like Jessica and Johnny could have their own video, but let's talk about the divorce, because that's when we really learn about their relationship. The reality show gave us some clues, but then the divorce, it spilt it all. Now, Jessica filed for divorce and she wanted her name changed back to Simpson from Lachey. And in 2006, the year after, Nick revealed that he was blindsided by this. Nick spoke candidly about the effect of the reality show Newlyweds on their relationship, saying, quote, Jessica and I began playing these parts when we were by ourselves. It became a really blurred line. There was a question about what was truly our reality. So they started playing these roles for the cameras and they couldn't really switch out of it, which I guess the roles they were playing was super in love and pretend. So I guess he was tired of playing pretend and didn't really know how he felt about her or how she felt about him, and clearly he was blindsided. There are a lot of rumors about Jessica's father, Joe, and his involvement, but Nick denied the rumors that her father, Joe, had been involved in their divorce. He said, do I think Joe drove a rift between us? No. Was he an influence in our marriage? Absolutely. Nick added that he still loved Jessica and would marry her again if he could. Quote, I never wanted to be a divorcee. I wanted us to be happy. I guess we differed on strategy. Even though Nick wanted to marry Jessica again, she was done. She changed her name and it was over. Actually, one of the last times they met up, Nick played his new album for her and it was all about her. And despite him being really hung up on Jessica, he actually moved on relatively quickly. And actually so quickly that Jessica's hurt by this. He started dating a woman named Vanessa, and she didn't quite understand how he wanted to marry her again, yet had a new girlfriend lined up right away. day. Jessica wrote in her book, "So Nick, you're with another one already? Seems that you forgot the love you spoke to me. I am saddened beyond belief, alone in the dark with no one to call my own." Which I feel really indifferent about this because like you wanted to divorce him. He wrote this music for you. You didn't want him. So he like found Vanessa, and if they like work, then like, I mean, if you didn't want him anyways, aren't you happy that like someone else has kind of like taken over for you? Also, it doesn't help when you hear her reaction to the music that he had wrote for her. I mean, you think it's supposed to be like all sweet and like, you know, romantic, but like when everything's on reality TV, it just does not help. And actually Nick played a song for Jessica, and there's a moment where you can see her reaction, and I feel like it's a tell-all sign that these two are not meant for each other.
That's why I didn't make your Christmas album.
That's a up thing to say. You.
Nick! That's not, I don't like that.
Well, say it in a way that's a little less abrasive next time.
Are you mad because I didn't like that song?
Don't worry about it.
Baby, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
I'm not talking to you.
Are you really mad because I don't like that song?
Baby, I'm not talking to you right now.
I'm scared to hurt your feelings. Baby, I thought you were being funny.
I was, but my God. Be mean about it.
Baby, there's a lot of songs that I wrote that you don't like.
Jessica, would you drop it, please?
Now, after the divorce was finalized, these two started talking about their marriage. Jessica said that year she realized her marriage was over whenever she was supposed to go on a trip to Kenya with him to celebrate their wedding anniversary and to do some charitable work, and he opted out. She said on that day in Kenya, on their 3-year wedding anniversary, she realized that she needed more out of her life. She was with all these sick kids, and her husband is back being lazy while she's working out here, and he was just not the one for her. Quote, "We worked and we were great at it, but when it came to time being alone, we weren't great at it anymore." Which makes me think like when we worked, like when we were on camera, we were great and we were great at it. But when we were alone, we were not compatible. We really got crushed by the media and by ourselves. I couldn't lie to our fans, and I couldn't give somebody hope that we were this perfect golden couple. I was really young when she first met him, and my success hadn't really begun. He knew me as this young, innocent 18-year-old that had never been introduced to the world in many ways. I went straight from my father to him. Nick is very smart. He was 8 years older than me, but he was also young.
Do you ever regret doing that show? Because it did put you up in front of so much scrutiny.
No, absolutely not. I feel like that was my way to connect with people. I feel that, like, I don't even know why I would ever regret it, you know? Like, I mean, in the airport yesterday, this guy came up to me, he was like, "I just have a question. Is it chicken or tuna?" You know, it's like, it like haunts me.
Obviously, these two moved on, but what's interesting is that they both got engaged very close to each other. Like within days, they were both engaged to new partners. And of course, this caused a lot of media because they both got engaged like right around the same time, so people are talking about it, and Jessica said their relationship was done so long ago, it's old news. She just wants everyone to celebrate the love between him and Vanessa, and honestly, it is pretty impressive that he like left Jessica, started dating Vanessa, and then ended up marrying Vanessa.
You both have moved on, you both are remarried. You have a lovely husband, Eric, who we both met.
Yeah.
And Nick is also remarried to Vanessa, and they have a show coming out. I think it's called Blind Love. So
they
will
do?
you be?
Good
Yes,
for them.
they do. So do you?
They're doing a show together?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? And do you wish them well?
I absolutely wish them well. I mean, the thing is that like so many years, it's been so many years since we've been divorced, and I'm at that place in my life where I am so happy for him. I'm glad that he found happiness. I'm glad that he has joy and it wasn't all just pain, and you can see that it was meant to be. We had other lives that were waiting for us.
For sure.
Yeah.
While Jessica has spoken very fondly of Nick, Nick has made some off-kilter jokes that have come back to bite him. Specifically about Jessica's father, who is an interesting man. He really needs his own video because there's a lot to unpack when it comes to him and his relationship with Jessica. Nick said the best thing about being divorced from Jessica is not having her father as his father-in-law, saying, "I don't have to play grab ass under the table on Easter Sunday." Jessica responded to this comment saying that she was not happy about it, calling it low, saying that Nick had no business discussing her family because he's not connected with us at all anymore. She said he was just bitter, you know, he was just trying to take a dig. But Jessica has made some own jabs of herself because you guys know Jessica went on to be a big time businesswoman. I mean, she's worth a lot of money because of her shoes and her other products. And she says the biggest money mistake she ever made was marrying Nick. She said that he should have signed a prenup because she ended up making so much more money. Now, we don't have the details of how much Jessica had to pay Nick off with, but she reportedly paid him millions of dollars. I don't know if it's spousal support, if it was one big paycheck, but he really cashed in on marrying Jessica, which really puts a bad taste in my mouth. And I think it does for Jessica as well, because this was a hot topic in her memoir. She also shared in her memoir that season 3 of their show, they were not on talking terms. They were barely a couple, but they were faking it on camera, which totally adds up now. That's why Nick was like confused with this blurred lines of the television show and like real life, because Jessica was probably acting interested in him for the cameras, but then when the cameras were away, she wanted nothing to do with him.
Well, a big conversation that's been happening this week as the book is coming out is around your ex-husband, Nick Lachey. And some have said, you know, that show really tore your marriage apart. What do you have to say to that?
I don't believe that the show is what tore our marriage apart. Nick and I were very great at being together publicly and on camera. We were best at our relationship when we were singing together. I feel like we were at home in that place. But as far as doing the reality show, we just kind of had fun with it until the end, until we started having marital problems. And I just can't lie to people. Yeah. And I felt like I was being a phony. And I didn't want to continue on with that, you know, like it just wasn't real anymore. It wasn't reality. It wasn't who we were. There was lots of eye rolling, and that was real stuff.
Now, of course, Nick did react to Jessica's book. In an interview with his wife on the Today Show, they asked him for his reaction to her book, and he said he hadn't read it, of course. Now, this is a really weird moment from this interview. So the host, Hoda, told them that Jessica said that Nick and Vanessa had sent her something beautiful when she had her children with her now husband. But confused, Vanessa said that they hadn't sent anything, and she didn't know Jessica's address. She added, "I feel bad. I'm sorry you said somebody sent her because it wasn't us. But thank you whoever sent it." Jessica later said in an interview with Andy Cohen that she had never received an actual gift. So who's telling a lie here? Like, was there a gift sent or not?
I don't know what she said or what she revealed there, but certainly happy, you know, for her and her life. I know she is happy for us. And there's definitely a mutual respect there. So that's, obviously it was a long time ago. We've all moved on.
I feel bad. I'm sorry. You said somebody sent her. Because now it's like, it wasn't us, but thank you for sending it from us.
Yeah, so she got something nice from you guys after, I don't remember, after some moment in her life. Yeah. And she thought it was sweet. And, so anyway, so she sort of was like saying kind of thanks to you guys.
What did you say?
I didn't. No, I didn't. Say, I don't know her address. But thank you, whoever sent it from us. Yes.
When this interview came out, several viewers quickly accused Vanessa of purposely making the interaction awkward and shading Jessica. But others pointed out that the reports of Nick and Vanessa sending Jessica a gift after the birth of her first child in 2012 had been widely reported at the time. In fact, a source told Hollywood Life the gift involved a large basket of pink and white cookies and an adorable baby girl decoration. So why would you act like you didn't send a gift? Like, is it trying to make Jessica look dumb, like she's imagining things? But Vanessa online, she saw the criticism and she responded saying like, okay, I'm going to hammer down here and say like, I did not actually send this gift. It is so random, but just like giving facts, we were being truthful. They were like caught off guard. Now, I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of whether Vanessa gave a gift to Jessica or not, or if Nick was involved or whatever. But honestly, there's nothing better than that show, The Newlyweds, because it truly is a gift. Seeing these two on camera and how they interacted, I don't think they were right for each other. They were far too young to get married, but like looking back on it, it was such a bizarre show and a weird point in their lives.
The tips of your skis.
You go a little bit first and show me how to do it.
You should try to keep your skis together as much as you can. Keep your skis together, Nick. Not like that. Don't do that. Now turn, 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 turn. Pick up your inside foot. Oh, you already done?
Yep. I have no desire whatsoever to do this.
Not him having a temper tantrum because he couldn't ski. I mean, it takes a few times before you get the hang of it, but actually I love to ski. I learned later in life and it's one of my favorites. But this behavior reminds me of Justin Bieber because he acts like a man-child. And actually, there have been some TikToks that have gone viral showing clips from their show where you could see that he doesn't treat her kindly. In this clip, you could see Jessica's mother suggest to Jessica that she hadn't eaten enough food and that's why her mood was bad. Instead of comforting his wife, Nick made some nasty remarks towards Jessica, prompting her to clap back at her husband. They end up going back and forth talking about each other's performances and the different dancers, and Jessica definitely did have issues when it came to Nick's career and the women that would try to hit on him. It seems like a common theme throughout their relationship that she was insecure about that.
I'm here to tell you, she'll argue with whatever you say today.
Yeah.
So,
It's the diet.
that is.
It is not the diet. It is the diet. It makes you mean.
I have not eaten since I melted some turkey and cheese.
Well, then eat, Jessica. My God.
I want to, but
What are you, a baby bird waiting for the mama bird to get spit in your mouth?
Screw you.
Why did you get up this morning and make yourself some breakfast?
Yeah. 5.5 hours of fishing time that took away from my cooking time.
Whatever. You haven't seemed half interested in half the things I've said today, so.
Everything's coming in your mouth is you crying about something. I'm not interested in it.
I have not cried or bitched. Screw you.
She's like my new favorite woman.
Who?
Nancy O'Dell.
Why?
She's cute.
She's your new favorite woman?
I'm just saying, I never really talked to her, or, you know.
She's very sweet.
What about me?
The way you're behaving today is hardly womanly.
Whatever.
I agree with this. One person wrote, I don't like how mean and condescending he is to her. She was young, always demeaning her for not being a woman. Another person wrote, he was so awful to her. Oh my gosh, they were so toxic. Now, because these two have remained public figures, they've been on TV, they've been sharing their lives through social media, they are still responding to questions about their relationship. And when her book came out, it definitely started a new wave where Nick was asked to go on a bunch of interviews and to respond to the book, even though he claims he did not read it. I mean, at this point, he's got to have seen like some snippets or at least parts where he's mentioned.
Did you ever wind up reading the Jessica Simpson book?
You'll be shocked to hear that I have not, nor will I ever read that.
Did you have someone call you and say, listen, here are the 5 things you need to know that are in this book?
You know, the beauty
like,
of that.
Here are the 5 things that you're going to be really annoyed by, or, you know, like someone to give you the lowdown.
Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, obviously I knew the book was coming out, but I lived the book. You know what I mean? I know what the truth is, so I don't need to read it, read someone's version of it in a story. You know, I know it. I lived it. So.
Now, Nick may not want to respond to any parts of their relationship, but he may have to because 20 years later, there are still clips from their show going viral of him talking down to her. I love this one comment. If this comes to Netflix now, I think everyone will see how toxic Nick actually was. Quote, he was so mean to her, always condescending and dismissive. Because everybody's talking about the show, Jessica said that she now sees the show in a different light. Quote, I was so young, I didn't even have a hold on who I was as a person. She said she doesn't regret it at all though. If anything, it was great TV. It was very real and Nick and I actually had a lot of fun. And even though Jessica may have had fun and she's all grown up and she's way past it, there's got to be something inside that sees like this young version of herself like with this, you know, mean guy and not feel like bad for herself because it is hard to watch.
I still love you.
I still love you. What the hell is that supposed to mean?
I mean,
I still love you in spite of what? I still love you in spite of what?
You're decorating.
Well, then you get off your ass and do it. I've been here working my ass off for like the last 3 days.
Baby, I'm
All you
not.
do is come home and bitch about it.
I'm not bitching.
You're bitching in your own non-bitchy kind of way. But in reality, you're bitching. You just won't directly come out and say you don't like it. You'll beat around the bush with it.
You take it so personal, Nick. You're not,
It's because you're bitchy about it. You come in and you say little comments. After I've been working my ass off. This is the thing. You bitch because it's so cluttered and everything and there's everywhere. And then when I put it somewhere, you bitch about where I put it. So what? I mean, which is it?
What I want ultimately is for a designer to come in and do it all.
Why do we have to hire someone to do everything?
Watching that clip, it's so hard to believe that he's 8 years older than her because they seem like they're the same age. Like, she's clearly more mature here. And it's like she's out here working all day and then coming home. You are just sitting at home doing nothing. I mean, I understand if you don't like the decorations. Like, I'm so particular. I have to, like, if someone else makes my bed, I have to remake it. Like, you know, I'm just that type of person. I totally get it. But then he just goes off on her, and it's like he knows there's cameras. So why are you calling her a spoiled brat, calling her a bratty girl for the rest of the world to see? Like, do you want your wife to be seen that way?
Brat.
I'm not a brat.
You're a spoiled brat.
So what if I'm spoiled?
You're a spoiled brat.
But I'm not a brat. I am not. I'm a nice girl.
You're a bratty girl.
I treat you very nice. I hate you right now.
Good. Go away. Leave me alone.
Even though Nick has relatively stayed silent in recent years, he did make a remark on his show, the Netflix show Love is Blind, which he hosted, and I'm pretty sure like people wanted him gone as a host because they really did not like him or his wife. But he said and remarked to another contestant that marriage is always better the second time, speaking about Jessica and his current wife Vanessa.
I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with him, so I'm content. We are content. We're on the same page with how we're doing things. Yeah.
Hey, it's always better the second time, right?
Really, Nick? Really?
I want to end this video by talking a little bit about Vanessa Lachey. She came into the picture very early on, right after these two divorced, and look at this headline. Vanessa opens up about how Nick's very public marriage and divorce from Jessica affected their relationship and that painfully awkward gift drama, the gift drama all over again. She said at the beginning that Nick was really struggling with their relationship because it was so public with Jessica that it was hard for him to escape. You know, he really identified with that person he had become, so he doesn't know how to live on his own or with her. But eventually he let it all go and they were able to commit and they stayed together and they've been together since then. And it does seem like these two are happy. We've seen them on reality TV and there have been some cute moments and we have got to be happy for Nick.
Been together for 16 years and we know each other. Married for 11. But it's so funny that for some reason we don't learn more about each other until we're in like a therapy session. And the reason why I'm choking up is because I've had to get through so much shit to be the best woman for him. Every single issue we had was every issue I brought up. Sorry. And to find that person that I can trust and that can carry me through is what made us unstoppable.
But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to hear what you guys think about Nick and Jessica's relationship. I don't really think there's like a sides here. Like, which side could you be on? But, you know, like Jessica really struggled. And, you know, we didn't even talk about her issues with addiction and alcoholism and how that kind of played into the divorce from Nick and how it became a real problem. We have other videos talking about that. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. And I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.